And I'm saying, but I feel like I don't have
Hopefully Dr. E will look for that.
Are we,
Monica.
We are ready.
we're ready? Okay, call the REAC meeting to order. Peg Zugby.
Here.
Roger Marr.
Here.
Tim Riley. Here. Okay. You guys know the drill. We have no action items. We have no new business. We have no old business. The treasury report. Feel free to take a look, but it is our standard couple of monthly bills. Nothing there. Someone wants to.
I'll make a motion when we accept the treasurer's.
I'll second the room.
Okay. I'll just do it all in favor.
Aye.
Okay. All right, with that said, I will read the minutes. Call to order at 11:05. No action items, no new business, no old business. Board reviewed the treasurer's report and adopted it. Motion to adjourn.
Shall we motion to adjourn?
Anyone? Okay, thank you. All right, call to order the IDA meeting. Peg Zugby.
Here.
Roger Marr.
Here.
Tim Riley. All right, so first item of business is Morgan Stanley. You want to go ask the guys from Morgan Stanley to come on in?
Yes. That's where we're for years.
Well, I thought we had a table, we had some on.
You guys can. One day they're.
We have pens, we're selling pens now. Out there, but they have to
Let's
sell
stop
here.
giving it up.
Times
He's
it.
giving more than the pens.
The espresso machine, I had to cut corners somewhere.
And we're live.
Hi, guys. Thanks for coming. I just introduced the project. As you know, Morgan Stanley is an existing IDA project, but they are poised to do a major expansion of their operations there. They're looking for sales tax exemption, additional amount of sales tax exemption. With that said, maybe I'll ask you guys just to introduce yourselves and just give an overview, kind of like the 2-minute overview of what you're planning for that project.
Okay, why don't you start and I'll.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. Good morning. Thank you very much for having us. Eon Nicholson, partner, Cutting Fader. We're representing Morgan Stanley, representing them on the initial project, and we're representing them on this expansion. So,
I'm Tony Jones. I'm the global head of project management and data center strategy at Morgan Stanley. So this particular expansion is a continuation of our presence in Orangeburg. We in New Jersey / New York area, we have about 8 campuses where we have leased capacity. One of them we actually own in Somerset, but the others are leased, similar to Orangeburg, with varying size, but fairly similar. And in New Jersey, our emphasis is generally on what we call production versus dev QA, which would be non-production, as well as electronic trading types of applications, right? Proximity to New York Stock Exchange being a particular interest, right? The 4 campuses that we have in Somerset, Piscataway, Secaucus, and Orangeburg are focused on what we call Gen Pop production versus the electronic trading, which is in Secaucus and Halsey. Right? So we have these campuses, and then as we go through time, we're always growing. So we expand our data center capacity as we need. Usually every couple of years, we need to add about, if it means anything to you, about 1,500 kW of paired capacity. Okay. So part of the expansion, part of the reason we came to Orangeburg originally was for that we needed to expand, and the locations in Somerset and Piscataway at the time were full. So we came to Orangeburg and Secaucus at the same time. And then we've continued to grow. And so we're in the middle of sort of what we call a pod, which is just a large room of computer capacity. And we're in the midst of that expansion in that second pod, and then we're setting ourselves up potentially somewhere in New Jersey for a third pod in a couple of years. And we're trying to position ourselves to be able to do that in Orangeburg, if that makes sense at the time. And of course, these tax incentives, which have been fantastic, and you guys have been very good partners with us, as 1547, who are the landlord, that's worked out really well for us, and so we're hoping to continue that relationship.
Hey, thank you. Anybody have any questions?
I have a few.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you doing with power with the utility company? Has there been any issues yet?
No, not in New Jersey at this point in time. No, I think you're seeing stuff in the Ashburn, Virginia area, and you'll see issues in other areas, but so far not.
Okay, good. The existing building down there, I think it's 1 Ramline.
Yes.
How much more room is there in there? I thought that place was at capacity.
No, what they're doing is they're adding a second floor to the existing building, which is where, if we take the third pod, that's where that would go.
Mm-hmm.
So that construction is ongoing, as I was listening to it above me this morning. I think they're delivering in 2027. And then 1547, who's the landlord at 1 Ramline, they have, I think they have the permitting, but they have plans to build a second building on that campus. Right, which I don't remember the megawatts, but it's probably 30, 40, 50 megawatt range. So the growth from that campus is in relatively good shape. I don't know that they've secured power for that second building. That's a timing issue. That's the landlord's business, not mine. But they have at least got the land and I believe permitting to build a second building.
Right. They've talked about that for a few years now.
Yes, yeah.
That's why I was curious if the primary building is full or not. But you're telling me they're going to add another floor.
Right, which I believe is largely leased or will be leased. So the market is hot and so they're doing well there. But no, they're adding that floor and adding capacity to deliver again. I think in 27.
Any other questions, anyone?
Now, when you
Okay. Yes.
when you say a pod, so you come in with a prefab unit or?
No, a pod is, so you can call it a palm room, a suite, a data hall. It's think of it as have you've been in the data center? You've seen a data center?
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, good. So you understand you walk into an empty room, it's got a raised floor, white floor, hence the term white space, and then you've got PDUs and crack units to deliver power and cooling to the room at the wall, right? Then, depending on the nature of that business, whether it's what's called more of a wholesale arrangement or a retail arrangement, if it's retail, the landlord will come in, they'll divide that space up into X number of cages,
right? And
then people will lease spaces in those cages, right? Or if it's more wholesale oriented, either the entire room will go to a single tenant or it'll be broken up into large chunks, right? Our pods so far at 1547, I believe, are the entire rooms. for example, but that can vary. So I'll use the entire room example just because it's simple. We come in, we lease the entire room. We will then do the engineering design to lay out the cabinets, branch circuitry, the cable plant. We will then connect, to the crack units and obviously the coolings in the room. We'll do a hot cold aisle containment to manage the heat. And we'll design all that, implement that ourselves, and then we'll rack and stack our equipment in it, turn it up, and then start operating from a business point of view.
So they just give you core and shell.
Well, if you core and shell with the raised floor and the power and cooling infrastructure, but yes. And now other customers they're very customers will do different things. That's how Morgan Stanley does.
Right. Any other questions, anyone?
When do you expect on start? When do you, we're gonna call it construction.
Right.
When do you anticipate starting construction?
So we're in the midst of construction right now. That's part of the expansion and extension. And then if we locate the next pod in the same facility, we would start construction in the middle of 27, I believe, with a go live in the middle of 28. The pod we have going on right now would go live in the middle of 26. 2 years later, we anticipate needing the rest of it, and then we'll sort of move that up and down depending on the demands of the business.
How are you finding like delivery as far as equipment and things like that, or is there delays? Like there used to be some big lead times, or has that gotten better?
Yeah, the landlords, so the biggest challenge there has been generators, UPS is the big iron, right? And that has wavered. It's been bad, but it's wavered, getting better and getting worse. I think lately it's been getting worse. But on our end, we have cabinets is not a problem. Power strips can be a little bit of an issue. They're certainly longer than they used to be, but we're used to it now, so we manage it. We'll order it in an appropriate time frame. Most of the stuff for us in the data center infrastructure part of it is manageable. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's manageable. The real issue we're having now is buying servers to then actually put in there, right? And now, again, hopefully we'll be past that in a couple of years, but right now there are issues there, chip availability and other things like that are going on. But and that wouldn't be unique to Morgan at all. That'd be very systemic in the industry.
Long lead items are the generators.
Yeah, but again, the landlord deals with us.
Exactly.
We don't. Yeah. So and they've got relationships, pipelines, so they're in a better position than like a Morgan trying to do it on their own. Just logic.
I know they own a couple of other data centers.
Yeah.
So when they make a call, somebody answers.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. And then, the larger ones like DRT or Equinix or the other ones, they have even, more weight in the market. So. All right.
I swear to them.
It's gonna get embarrassing if I say any more questions, but it's just, all right, with that said, anyone want to make a
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I'll call the roll. Peg Zugaby.
Yes.
Roger Marr.
Yes.
Tim Riley.
Yes.
Okay. You've been authorized, John.
Great.
Good
Much
luck.
appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a good day. All right.
So-
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Let me give you my card, you can call us, so we'll.
Yeah, we have the stuff. Yeah, I think we're ready for
Who is
documentation.
it? Do you have a construction manager? Do they have a?
He's got an extra the bonus round.
Yeah, I'm sorry, no one.
Hey, wait a minute. You gotta come back here again for the final approval.
Tell Tony I said-
Curses.
Oh, I will.
Anyway, no, what was your
Yeah, I
question?
will.
Sorry.
Do you have a construction manager yet?
For the current one, yes. For the future one, no.
Current one is Holt Construction.
Yes.
Oh, my pleasure.
We usually what happens is we'll competitively bid that every time. So we'll get an engineering design firm and we'll line that up. Sometimes we do extend the relationship. We'll try and get on that. It'll be too long. So anyway, but yeah.
Tell Tony I said hello.
All right. Anyway,
We're
thank
all
you very
set.
much. Good question,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
You guys take care.
Have a
Appreciate
great
your
weekend.
time.
Nice to meet you.
Be careful with the snow.
Oh, yeah.
You too.
Yeah, people like 20 inches or zero.
He's a more narrow forecast. I said anywhere from 0 to 75.
And anytime between now and May.
Meteorologist in San Diego.
Yeah.
Sunny and 75,
Yeah.
all year round.
Back to you, Chuck.
We're going to table 50, there's an amending resolution for 59 owner. We're gonna table that. There's a couple pieces of that involving I'll leave it to, we're not gonna go on length. We're just gonna table it because there's some legal matters we have to work through. Nothing horrible, but it just has to be done before we can act on it.
It's just in terms of the entities that need to be, because there may be an assignment, so we have to make sure that whatever the entity is actually going to be assigned, we have all that information. So basically, the high level as to why it's being tabled.
Yeah, this is a good project. It's, just a matter of going through the mechanics of it. So we're going to table that for the time being, probably act on it in February.
So we got two more things to go because he said by 11:25 we'll be done.
I think I said 12:30, didn't I? Even then, we're going to be done well before that. All right, the next, if you want to go get Tony, Sarasota. See, if you don't ask any questions, Roger, I can't blame you for the meeting going on.
I didn't ask the questions this time.
I noticed.
He kicked me 3 times.
He's got an Indian attorney. Rockland speaks my lingo. Holy cow.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you? Great.
You have good taste.
Right, so kick things off, PDI, we're considering an inducement resolution for a new project. For those not familiar, and I'm gonna not steal your thunder, so
That's
I'll let
okay.
you talk a little bit about the company.
Yep.
But PDI has been a long-term, very long-term company located in Rockland, a big employer, manufacturer. This is from our perspective, a significant expansion, adding another whole facility. And with that said, Tony, why don't you, if I might ask you guys to introduce yourselves and
Sure.
give that 5-minute overview of what you guys are planning, a little bit about the company and what's planned.
Okay. Tony Sarasolo, I'm CFO at Professional Disposables International Inc., which is PDI.
Raj Vaswani, the general counsel of the company.
So just to give some background on PDI, PDI has been in Orangeburg since 1986. It was a greenfield site back in 1986. We employ, step back, we make disinfecting wipes for the healthcare and food service industries. Our revenue is roughly about $600 million a year. We employ in Orangeburg roughly 700 people between our manufacturing site and our raw material warehouse. Our raw material warehouse, our manufacturing is at 2 Nice Pack Park. We have a building that we lease adjacent to that we've been in since 2003, and our landlord there is no longer willing to renew our lease. Our raw material is a constant feed to our manufacturing process, so we need a building that's close by. So we were not prepared for that landlord to not renew, given our long-standing relationship there. So we went into a emergency mode of trying to find another location that will keep us in Rockland County and not having to invest in a fleet of drivers for warehouse space somewhere north or west of New York, right? So this property at 108 Route 303 came available or was available to us, which is the old Chrysler Parts Distribution Building. It's 337,000 square feet, which is going to become our new raw material warehouse, moving from 125 Greenbush Road. And then eventually we have a 300,000 square foot distribution center in West Nyack. And that lease expires in August of 2028. And eventually the plan is to add on to this building 150,000 square feet so that we're ready to consolidate the warehouse into that one there. We'll have raws and finished goods out of that one location. And also with the potential of manufacturing capacity expansion to happen there too. Our current facility at 2 Nice Pack Park is landlocked in terms of what we can do there and adding additional equipment. So to maintain our ability to grow and stay in Rockland County, it will require that property to expand. So depending on your decisions here, we'll help our decisions on whether we stay longer term and invest in that property or look down the road to a place that's going to help us continue to grow.
Questions, anyone?
Have you acquired the property? You looking to lease it or you looking to buy it?
We are in a sublease right now. We are looking to buy it, but currently under a sublease.
Given the fact that you put that kind of money into a business, don't you think it would be a better idea for you to own a building?
We are trying to own the building.
Yeah, because I think given the fact that, your equipment are so expensive, it would just make sense for you to own one.
Correct. And we are trying to own this building. Doesn't mean we're going to stay there though, because the building doesn't provide enough for us long-term, right? It'll provide enough to get our raw material warehouse going, right? If it's more space than we need currently, right? The current 125 Greenbush raw material warehouse, we lease about 87,000 square feet. This building is 337,000, but it's convenient to our property. So we are going to overpay for the convenience factor to our plants.
But you said that in 2028, your lease may expire on the West Nyack.
West Nyack,
You
correct.
can use that space and bring into the building here?
So it's only 337,000 square feet. I need 100,000 for the raw material warehouse.
Okay.
Leaves me 227. I currently have 300,000 square feet of warehouse space at 9 Center Rock Road in West Nyack. And that's today, right? And our business is growing, which means I'm going to need more space. That only leaves 227 left of the current building, which is not enough, which is going to require me to invest in that property and add more space on, which will also allow us, if we do that, we are agreeing to stay in Rockland County because we're going to add manufacturing space there to continue our growth. But in the interim between now and that point in time, depending on the support from Rockland County, we will decide whether we make the investment and add on another 150, 200,000 square feet and own the building or look elsewhere.
And you have the property to do that, to
It's a
expand.
54 acre
Oh, okay.
site.
I didn't know
So,
how big the
yeah,
property
54
was.
acres.
This is off, if you went down the Palisades, you get off at exit 5.
Oh, right there, okay.
And
You know where the golf driving range is? It's
Yeah.
adjacent to the driving range.
and if I'm not mistaken, has that been empty for many years, or a number of years? Or
I don't know when Chrysler left, but at least
that's a
since
while ago.
24.
A while ago, yeah.
He comes in Orangeburg?
It's in
Yeah.
Orangeburg. It's in the
No, it's in
southern-
Japan.
Or Japan.
Japan.
Japan, sorry, yes.
Almost into New Jersey.
Yes, it's
You're
a
right,
couple of
like,
miles
right
from the
there,
crossover, yes.
And then Jamaican,
Right across the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah,
Jamaica
yeah,
Fruit.
Riviera Food Delights is across,
Yeah.
almost across the street.
So the other thing with this property is because the number of trucks that have to shuttle to Nice Pack Park, we have petitioned the state to put a traffic light in to allow left-hand turns safely out of that, because we have to make a lot of left-hand turns with tractor trailers. 303 is a very speedy road sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it difficult.
Especially right there.
And you wait a long time to make a safe left, and we don't want unsafe left-hand turns. So we just did get a response from the state. It's going to cost $1.6 million to put a traffic light in.
For
So
traffic light?
and they gave
Yeah,
you
yeah.
the approval?
I'm sorry.
They gave you the approval?
We have verbal approval. We don't have written approval, but we did get an estimate back from them of what it's going to cost. So we're still trying to get to that point, but until I have a signed document, no, there's nothing approved.
It's a big issue in the town, because I know we do a lot of land use, so that left turn there,
Yeah,
that's always.
It's hard, and you're
always
coming over a
discussion.
hump of
Shouldn't the state be
the,
giving them a little-
yeah.
Because he's doing it for other people too, not just for himself, right?
Doesn't
So
work that
1.6
way.
million dollars a waste of, come on.
Last one.
It's
I
You want them to
expensive.
get going. All right.
Was this originally Nice Pack?
It was originally Nice Pack. Nice
Okay,
Pack
that's
doesn't
what-
exist anymore.
Okay, that's what, not confusing me, but I'm like, wait a minute, so it's Nice Pack.
To Nice Pack Park, hence the name of the
And they did the
entrance.
same products?
They did consumer products.
Okay.
We do healthcare and food service brand,
Right.
not private label. They made wipes for Walmart and Costco and Target.
Gotcha, but, okay.
Kind of a predecessor.
Yeah.
But they've been around for many
But
years.
Nice Pack was acquired and merged into another company last August. So
Yeah.
they left, they're not in Orangeburg anymore. They
Mm-hmm.
moved to Pearl River and now they're not gonna have anybody.
Okay. I just, just
Yep.
confused me a little.
So same family, NicePack and PDI, you have the Julius family. Robert Julius was the CEO of NicePack Products. Zachary Julius, his son, is the CEO of PDI. So same family enterprise, two different family members.
And 64 new employees?
So that 64 new employees would go towards our expansion and putting manufacturing capacity in there. We would put a line that would run eventually 3 shifts, which would usually have about 18 staffers on a shift, plus supervisors, material handlers, things like that. So you would get up to your 64 people across 3 shifts.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Peg Zugaby,
Yes.
Raj Amar,
Yes.
Tim Riley. Yes. Okay, you've been induced. Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks for hearing us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in.
Take care.
Obviously, we'll follow up and do the next.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, take care.
That traffic light is critical.
Well-
1.6, like 303.2.
No, but money aside, when you come out of the driving range, it's kamikaze.
I've had projects to them, and that's the.
They would all share the same traffic light?
No, but my point being is if I'm in a 40-foot truck, it's gonna be a lot more difficult than in a car.
Yeah, because there's always cars right
It is
there. Like, it's
always
never.
fun. And the Palisades has a hump, so you really can't see that far. So, there's been times when I come out of the golf place, I just went right and then figured a way to get,
That's probably smart, yeah.
And there's not a lot of U-turns there either.
No,
No.
no, especially if you're in a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
You're not going downtown to Cannes?
No,
Make that-
no.
Yeah.
You even have to jump across the bridge.
Okay, next item of business, new business. Sarah, you want to give us a labor compliance report?
I would love to. Good morning and welcome to labor compliance. So as you can see from our chart, artfully constructed by Sydney, we are in the green for December. It was a good month. Our total labor compliance is 92% over the course of the average of all of our projects. There isn't too much new to report. We are, as I move into the annual labor compliance report, which you all have a write-up about, it's short and sweet. Our average annual compliance for 2025 is 89%. And that does include the work that was done by Loki Grill.
So how, when did you take over?
I took over in July, officially.
So technically 6 months.
Yes. Overall, we're doing it differently. In-house has, obviously, as you all know, has provided us a much better way to communicate with each other and frankly with the projects. I'm working with each project individually to figure out what the best way is for them to do things like daily sign-in sheets, because the projects are such different sizes and such different scopes that it's helpful. If they are doing it in a way that works for them, I am getting the best data, and that's my concern with this.
Sarah,
So
can I ask you a question?
please do.
Just for information,
Mhm.
right? And not today, maybe next time.
Okay,
Give us a breakdown. You're 89% for the year.
yes,
Give us a breakdown for the first 6 months and the next 6 months. So we understand
okay,
how we've increased by being in-house.
okay.
That's actually a good point, because the process was very wobbly.
Yeah, and I think people are not petrified, if they don't, they're not afraid, because if they have a question, they would ask her and she'll be able to guide them and say, don't do it this way.
Yeah.
I just want to see that how it affects us, because
Sure.
it's obviously positive. We
Right.
see that because you're more greens, compared to what we saw with Loki Grill. Plus
Yeah.
it's more personal because you're here, right?
Yes,
So make things a little bit, I just want to see the comparison. That's all.
sure, absolutely. We'll get that number to you. We'll get that number to all of you. Does anybody have any questions about the annual report? So, as always, too, feel free to email me or call me if you do.
the risk of sounding like a cheerleader, but I have to tell you though, the teamwork between Heidi, Sarah, Sydney, you know, to make those green, as I've said before, those green numbers don't happen by chance. And the growing pains, I think we all anticipated were nominal at best, because you
They
just
were
really
very
grabbed it.
minor,
and
yeah.
The projects, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've gotten a call from a project talking about some issue with labor. They all went away. Because, you know, they're very hands-on and very responsive, and, you know, it works.
Yeah, and, you know, I feel like I started on a good foot with all the projects, and I felt that at the end of the year, I was on a better foot, because I understood the project more, I knew the people that I was working with, and it's easier to talk to and work with people that you know better, you know, just
That's why they say experience matters.
yeah.
Okay, thanks. Next item of business, how do you want to talk about Juania?
Yes, and you have a handout too. Mine is not short and sweet because you know I like all the words. First, I just want to congratulate Peg, who was reappointed to another term on the board.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, Peg. We're happy
We're
to
sorry,
have you.
one of the other.
Yeah. Should have gotten help while you could now. But on to Juania. So I have been meeting quarterly with Molly Griffin, who is their foundation director, to track the outcomes of our partnership with Juania. And so they started offering, we entered into the partnership around this time last year, and they started offering the services in September. It was in the planning stages until then. So since then, 14 people have been supported through the program in individualized on-site work support. So these are individuals who are either in internships or jobs who need a little extra support. For instance, there is a gentleman who works at Helen Hayes Hospital. Helen Hayes Hospital transitioned their computer systems, and that was a challenge for him. And so someone from Juania went in and helped him through that challenge, and now he's up and running with the new system. But he needed a little more support than Helen Hayes has the staff to support. So this is really keeping people in these jobs through these transitions. So 14 people, there's 14 individuals in the program now with 6 support staff. They anticipate through 2026 increasing that number to 100 individuals, and that's a rolling number, so probably 25 each quarter throughout the year. And of course, we'll be tracking those outcomes. But so far, it's been a very nice supportive program, and we've gotten a lot of good response, both from the employers and of course from the employees. And they also did, and I like to see this, they started a collaboration with Taped Up, who's right here in New City, who agreed to be one of their hubs. So when they have individuals that's looking for an internship, they will take on those individuals and then move them out into permanent positions in the county, and then take on a new person from the program. So that's a nice collaboration. We like to see that. So any questions about the Juania partnership?
No, I'd just like to see the numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing we can do. I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer. But for the money we've invested, 14 people doesn't seem like an awful lot. So I'd like to see the numbers go up as far as who's in participants.
Yeah.
Now, to just be clear, and I see your point. So first half, until what time?
So that was quarter one, that was quarter 4 of, from September to December. And they're anticipating having 100 people go through the program this year.
So you're only doing the evaluation for 1 quarter?
The numbers so far, yeah, we met at the
So the
beginning
14
of the
people-
year.
Okay, so 14 people are for 1 quarter.
Yes.
So the goal is to get to 25 to 100.
Yes.
Right.
So, all right, so.
Yeah, 100. Sounds a
But
lot
you want to
better
see
than-
that.
Yeah,
No, 100 sounds a lot better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the plan is that Molly and I will meet each quarter and we'll track the progress. Yeah.
Thank
All right, thank you.
Do we want to talk about the scholarships?
Yes, let's, I'm gonna let Heidi continue talking about a scholarship program that,
We also have another handout. So we have the opportunity to partner with Rockland's Business Women's Network, and we've been doing a lot with them. They're pretty robust. I would venture to say they're at the moment, maybe the most robust business
Yeah,
association. They
given
have a-
that we're live, I'll be, but
No,
they
but
are-
they have a lot of active programs. One of the things that they do is offer scholarships at their yearly luncheon. And so we have proposed to offer 2 scholarships, the IDA scholarships, annually. And there are some parameters around that. We would like it to be for individuals attending RCC and also individuals who are either starting their education a little older, 25 plus, or returning to school. The idea behind that is individuals who are a little older probably have roots in the county, and the chance of them moving on to go to school somewhere else or moving out of the county are a little less than high school students who may be starting their careers anywhere in the county. And as a Rockland County agency, obviously we can't tell anyone they have to live in Rockland, but we can try to set it up so that it has the best chances of remaining in Rockland.
Why are you limiting it to Rockland Community College?
Because we already have a partnership with them for the stipends for the scholarships. We did want it to be a local college, and RBWN already has a pipeline with them to determine financial need that's very seamless and is already in place, which is a big, it's a bulky process, and to
It's
do
not.
it, yeah.
Okay. It's fine not to throw a curveball, but I can imagine, I'm just thinking ahead, while we're initiating, if the board, if we decide to go forward with this is like almost like a pilot scholarship program. That
Right.
probably doesn't preclude exploring possibilities with our other,
I love a scholarship
Yeah.
program. Yeah, I would love to do that, but to kind of jump in and do something first, since they have that established relationship, it seems like a nice way to add on.
maybe add on even the piece about the RBWN if you're not familiar with it. I really wasn't that much. I knew it existed, but they had a, what did they call that?
The
Open
Women's Success Summit.
Summit last week, and there were dozens and dozens of tables of various resources that provide various support services for women, everything from, well, you probably,
Yeah, so there was a job fair, there was a resume writing workshop, I attended a leadership workshop, which was excellent. They had a woman, and I'm forgetting her name, Politis was her last name.
Oh, she was fantastic.
She was fantastic. She was from the New York State Department of Labor. Fantastic. What a good speaker. I actually recommended to the Albany conference with NYSEBC for her to speak because she was excellent. So they really did a good job putting together a program. We all really enjoyed
and
it.
and I went over and I second, it was a great, just seeing all that high, good energy of really support. And as far as going back to scholarships, I think we went to their awards dinner last
Every
spring.
June, yeah,
In June, they hand out awards or scholarships.
scholarships.
And the stories of particularly these people and some of the challenges that some of these women faced, it was heart-wrenching, if nothing else, and how it changed their lives to provide a helping hand and provide some scholarship money
Yeah.
to help them go to RCC. And again, I won't go into the detail of it, but it was like, it almost wasn't a dry eye, or at least I can speak at our table, because the stories were so inspiring of these people that over the hurdles some of these women have overcome. So with that said, I don't know, well, I'll let you finish. I mean, what are the particulars of the scholarships?
Yeah, I think we touched on it, that it would be 2 $2,500 each scholarships awarded annually. We'd like to get it up and running for the upcoming academic year, so 26-27, which means applications are due in March. So we're kind of under a crunch there. But the nice thing about partnering with RBWN is that they have an application process. They have a committee that analyzes everything. Everything's kind of up and running, and we just sign on. So a lot of it is taken care of us, and I'll be on that committee, which I'm excited about, to kind of learn about that process. But yeah, I think that's.
I don't know if we actually need a formal resolution other than if the board wants to vote, like let's indicate.
Why don't you have a resolution?
You want to take it, like, can we do a verbal resolution?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that said.
I'll make a motion, that we approve the 2 scholarships.
Okay. Okay.
It's your field.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, I'll do the roll. Peg Zugby.
Yes.
Raj Amar.
Yes.
Tim Riley. Yes. 2 2,500 scholarships. Okay, thank you. Let's see, do we have any other business that we wanted to discuss? I think, before I go on to financials,
I think that was everything on my checklist.
Just an update on a couple of things, just in general. If you've been reading, there's been a lot of news about the mall and its fate. There's an article in the Rockland Business Journal. It's going to be up for auction. I bring this up only because, that one of the things that, I'd suggest that maybe, we kind of be involved in, and it started a little bit, then it kind of languished, was getting the, county executive, supervisor, the school district, us, because of our role in economic development, trying to get, whoever buys it or whoever ends up with it, getting more involved in it rather than just hoping something falls out of the sky, that, because that is such a tax driver that it has a lot of ramifications to the county, not just the town. So just wanted everybody to be aware of it. This is something that I think we want to do more of, it being a little more proactive. We're encouraging, suffering, that, with our involvement, be a little more proactive with the fate of the Regeneron building. We met earlier this week with the mayor, the county executive, and talked about what do we want there, and it's privately owned. They can sell it to who they want. We can't dictate that, but how do we get out? How do we perhaps get more involved in working with the owners, in this case Regeneron, or whoever ends up with a mall, as far as probably trying to incent the kind of development we want. But nothing for us to act on. Just want to give you a heads up. Guys, just a reminder, we have 3 appointments of you two Tuesday at 6:20.
It's on my calendar.
Okay.
I
All right.
expect you all to be there.
Okay, with that said, if you want to take a look at the financial reports. Again, a few more checks, but nothing out of the ordinary. If there's any questions or someone wants to adopt them. We have our independent audit, right?
January 28th. Next week, yeah. Getting everything ready for that, and compliance season has officially really begun. We've gotten a few compliance reports back from my star pupils. Everyone else I'll be chasing down.
And we progress through the process, like, you'll send out the request, Cindy will have it, they may not get everything Cindy needs, then you'll be the nice cop.
No.
You're not as
I'm the
nice
deep
cop.
Sid's nice cop, I'm medium cop,
And I'm
and if they
medium cop.
still don't listen, I'm like, keep sending it now.
As far as, like, if you don't give it to us, we're terminating your project. But actually, everybody has gotten,
No, everyone's
again,
very good.
I will, in the vein of, not to go on about this, but in the same vein as with labor, bringing compliance in-house, because remember, we used to outsource it 100%. And Julie was fine. The firm that we used was fine, but she's not here. And she doesn't have a personal connection. Having that personal connection has paid dividends time and time again. So,
Yeah, Sid and I have already had quite a few meetings with, just people who have questions, or how do you do this
Yeah, don't know what they're
handholding?
doing.
And it's a nice, now we really know them. It's like our 4th year doing it together. So we know the players. They're happy to give me a call and say, I'm lost. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I was anticipating this phone call.
I know from the labor report, the little like her back, which is a good thing, is that it's not adversarial, it's more like an advocate.
Right.
Yeah.
A little different.
yeah, I don't think, going back to the labor, I don't think we're having people running out the back door when you show up like we were with
No, I think it's, and I encourage the projects to explain to the workers who I am. And, I think it's been very good so far. People are getting used to seeing me now, so.
And same with compliance, and gotten it down to a routine, like
Yeah. We know all the players.
the financial people, the town hall, the village, they know what we're looking for, they know the drill, they know,
Yep.
so it just, the machine is working very efficiently. Going back to financials, someone want to make a motion to adopt the financials, unless there's questions. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Okay. All right, I'll read the minutes quickly, and then we'll be done. Meeting called to order, 11:10. Representatives of Morgan Stanley came and discussed their operation and their plans to significantly expand their facility at 1547, which is 1 Ramline Road. For Tim Riley has a variety of questions. Following discussion, motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Peg Zugby, all in favor. The matter of Route 59 owner amending resolution was tabled. The inducement resolution regarding Professional Disposables International, Inc. CFO gave an overview of the company's operations, their plans to expand, all the various elements, underscoring the fact that the incentives were a key part of their decision to stay in Rockland County. Following discussion, a motion by Raj Amar, seconded by Peg Zugby, all in favor. Regarding new business, Sarah McTasney gave an overview of our labor report, which showed that all projects are compliant and exceeded the 80% compliance regard. Board member Raj asked to see if he could have a breakout of the first half of the year of 2025, or second year, so we could see the growth of bringing it in-house. Heidi Van Diver discussed the Joannios results. Gave details about, I'll go on a little bit more about that. Heidi then talked about proposed scholarship for the Rockland Business Women's Network that would be for two $2,500 scholarships for students that would plan to attend RCC. Following discussion, motion by Tim Riley, seconded by Peg Zugby, all in favor. Board reviews the financials adopted by Roger Marr, seconded by Peg Zugby, all in favor. And that's that. Any other questions? Any other items you want to talk before we adjourn? Okay, motion to adjourn. Okay, and we're done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. What time? That's a quick one. 7:40.